conceded.
That was a good chase between those two. So there's a slight downhill out that far side on the square leg boundary, and was picking up speed all the time. So good chase down for the two. It just shows you ones and twos and can be saved like that, can make a huge difference in a close game like this. Good running between these two. Nice little pull back before the ropes, and then working in tandem to prevent the four.
He's a little bit too short, Mazravani, with his length. He's got to pitch it up a little bit more. Got to be attacking the stumps. If you keep bowling back of a length, you're not really attacking the stumps. You're only trying to get the batsman nicked off. You've got to try and bring in all minimum three modes of dismissal when you're bowling. Bowled, LBW, and caught behind. And in order to do that, you've got to pitch that ball up. You've got to drag the batsman forward. At the moment, I feel it's a little bit too short.
Yeah, both batsmen out there under no real pressure or trouble so far. Porterfield, load of respect, just batting down the last two deliveries. Getting the blind ball almost to the boundary 3 deliveries ago. Partnership. 21 runs.
Better length, much better. Drag the batsman forward, bring the outside edge into play. That's the end of the 5th over. And Arden move on to 21 for now.
That's the view looking across this splendid Stormont ground in the grounds of Stormont Castle. It's the far end from the city end, basically, to looking towards the Dundonald end. Old Money, it's now the Daffin News end and the ITW Ireland end. The two ends that we have here due to our sponsorship of this Daffabet One International Series fixtures between Ireland and Zimbabwe. Some punch shot into the covers, but good fielding.
Yeah, beautiful looking shot there on the up by Paul Sterling. Fortunately for him, Raza manages to pounce on his left and stop it. It's a guaranteed 4 from the moment Sterling would have hit that. So he'll be kicking himself to missing out that boundary.
Big thick inside edge there, I think.
That's the dangerous delivery for Paul Sterling. The ball on a length, just coming back into him. Paul Sterling loves width, like most batsmen do. That ball there, just touching back off the seam into Paul Sterling, cramping in from him, and that's where he needs to be bowling in Garava.
Yeah, you're right, Sterling does like the width. Any width on offer will be punished. Signal behind umpire Paul Reynolds. Paul Reynolds and Mark Hawthorne are two umpires, both Irish umpires. Well seasoned, well experienced umpires they are too.
This is going to be a real test for Sterling at the moment. He hasn't quite hit his straps, and the new Paul Sterling just has to guts it out for another 5 overs. Whereas I think in the past he might have just played the big shot because he hasn't quite got going, and in doing so sometimes he can come off, but sometimes he gets out. And this is the tough period for any batsman. If you are struggling a little bit earlier, or not even struggling, even if you are not really finding the gaps, you just got to hang in there and try and turn the strike over. Get your partner on strike. Really important to build a partnership.
Also good for the confidence of the Irish batters out there if they keep that scoreboard ticking over with the 1s and 2s from the over, because the combination of left and right hand batsmen moves the field continuously. It's a good bowling performance so far. Ireland determined, Porterfield and Sterling just not to lose their wicket early on. 22 without loss now in the 6th over, chasing 267 for victory. Still an awful long way to go in this game. It's well bowled and batted to by Porterfield.
Yes, and equally well played. That concludes the 6th over. Ireland move on to 22 for 0.
Bani, the 24-year-old, is continuing now from the far end. Made his day international debut in 2018 against Bangladesh. Bowled. Sterling appeared to pull his bat out of the way at the last moment. He's a big tall man, isn't he? He's coming down from a pretty decent height as well.
He certainly is, and that's allows him to bowl that just short of a length, which I don't have a problem with the longer format of the game. You want to be making sure that you bowl that little bit fuller sometimes when you're playing one-day cricket. Got to attack those stumps. Good delivery that time.
Yeah,
not an easy man to get forward to that.
No, because he's of the height as well, and Sterling is a small man, and as you saw, it was 41%. I think it was just too short. That one, much fuller delivery, bit of movement as well, and squared Sterling up. Bowled as well.
That's an absolute beauty. That's what they get all the slips normally, getting them all excited. Let's have a look at this one. Bounces and leaves him. Jeez, that was a quick ball.
Coming into him as well. Certainly surprised Sterling.
I really would like to see another slip in there. I think the way Zarabani is bowling, put a little bit more pressure on the opposition.
That's hurt. Wrapped him on the knuckles.
He's okay.
He's alright.
He's okay. He's a tough Irish lad.
Well, it was just one moment there when Porterfield started to call for attention and Sterling waved it away. Didn't even rub it.
I tell you what, sometimes a little injury like that can really fire up a batsman. Sometimes not a bad thing, especially when you know you're in a contest.
You can easily break a finger with that because your hand gets trapped on the handle of the bat. So he's able to take his hand away from it. And you mentioned the fact that Zimbabwe could do perhaps with a second slip. Craig Irvine was the second slip, but he's moved himself more to a whitish gully. Obviously, hoping that Sterling would nick one his way.
I don't mind the gully, but I would like to see 2 slips and a gully. With the way Musrabani is bowling and the way the batsmen have played him, it does bring the slip man into play. If you pick up Sterling early, tell you what, your chances of winning the game are very high against Ireland.
So a bowled end of 7, 22 without loss. Thanks to Shah 4 at the moment. Neil Johnson joins us in the Commentary box, good afternoon, Neil. And Ireland 22 with that loss after 7 overs. They've had difficulty getting bat on ball in the last couple of overs. It's a good opening bowling spell between these two for Zimbabwe.
Good afternoon, John. It certainly is. They've got stuck and they've hit a great length. I think it's back of the length and climbing a bit. Both of them are very tall boys and getting some bounce as well, so it hasn't been easy for the Irish lads.
Porterfield not happy with himself. Started to follow that delivery.
Very similar to the Zimbabwe innings. Right up front, it was tough, wasn't it? We could see it was hard for them to survive, and then eventually one wicket fell, and then there was a partnership. The Irish boys are hanging in here, hanging tough, getting hit a few times, but all they need is a partnership.
It's well bowled. Kept a little low. It's nicely bowled. That left Porterfield practicing the shot long after the ball had gone.
Yeah, it's beautifully bowled. Slightly away from the left-hander. Angle and slightly away. Not easy to play that. Interesting speed there, 124 k's an hour, so it's not quick. But he does bowl a lot quicker than that.
On the right side, it's going to be signalled wide by Paul Reynolds. Umpire at this end. How is Zimbabwean cricket these days? It's obviously been difficult times for the country over the last couple of years. The cricket, they've had games postponed, COVID problems as well.
Yeah, it's been tough for quite a while, not just a couple of years. It's been an interesting place, and the way the boys survive is they just love playing cricket and want to play for the country, and it really has been tough for these boys. Travel the world, not really knowing what's going on at home. But they've done well. They hang together and they stick together, and I suppose that's all you've really got, isn't it?
It's indicative of sides like Afghanistan, Zimbabwe. Travelling the world, playing games away from your home country. Ireland didn't play at home at all last year. Back to playing some games at home, which is great to see. But Ireland have also got that problem is that they've no test matches lined up. Perhaps one at the end of the beginning part of next year, maybe against Sri Lanka. We're not quite sure yet. It hasn't been confirmed. They're a full nation, full test playing nation, like Zimbabwe. And they too aren't playing any test matches these days.
Yeah, it just seems crazy, doesn't it? Why aren't they playing test cricket? We're watching England play India at the moment, and test cricket is fantastic to watch, in the build-up of the whole match and the ebbs and flows and all that, and it's such an important part of the game. The best players in the world talk about it being the best form of the game, and therefore Ireland should be playing, Zimbabwe should be playing some sort of test cricket.
So that one-day World Cup qualification. Into the 8th. Ireland getting a little bit bogged down in the last couple of overs. Runs not flowing at the moment. 23 without loss. $23 without loss then, at the end of 8 overs. Ireland need 244 here at the wonderful Stormont ground in Belfast. We're enjoying an Indian summer. Zimbabwe losing the toss at the bat this morning, making 266 for 7 off their allotted 50 overs. Ireland spinners did well, but quicker boys, Josh Little, Mark Adair, Craig Young, got a little tap around the ground. And 267. A pitch that looks a bit sticky. It's going to be a big ask for Ireland if they're going to overhaul that Zimbabwean score.
It certainly looks difficult now, but as long as they don't lose a wicket, they build a partnership. Even though it is slow, they'll have an opportunity later on to have a bit of a dash, but at the moment it's tough and they're hanging tough as well. The length they're bowling is very interesting. They've pulled their length back and going through sort of belly button, chest height. Sterling doesn't look that comfortable. He loves a bit of width and he loves a bit of that length as well, where he can just jump on it.
Swooped around the corner. There's a fielder down there, just need a single. We know that he's a very destructive batsman. Paul Sterling played 5 group games for Middlesex in the recent T20 Blast. Also played for the Southern Brave in the 100. Was the player of the match as well when they won the inaugural 100 at Lords. Best of 177 against Canada. I thought he might actually be bowling today, but wasn't asked to do so. Porterfield now with 2 slips in place. You can feel the tension around the ground. It's very
just about to say
quiet.
that to you, John.
Very
It is.
quiet. Everybody's kind of watching and waiting for Sterling to pounce on one and have a go. He hasn't shown his hand yet.
Absolutely not yet. There he is, the big guy, waiting. Everyone's sitting on the sides. When is he going to have the dip? When is he going to go for it? Is he going to give the charge, try and catch it a bit on the half volley, try and give himself a bit of room, crash one over covers or cover point? But he doesn't look comfortable. And we even sitting here, John, we're sitting here thinking, what is going on? When is it going to change?
Well, it's a different type of game for Paul Sterling. He's got to be more circumspect. Just wait for that bad ball. This is all about team building and innings building. It's in the air, cries of catch it. It's gone all the way to the boundary for 4. Hit on the up and over that 2-man in the slips, and a nice welcome boundary to end the 9th over for Ireland, and they're 28 without loss.
Both Sterling and Porterfield now 12 of 27. Hasn't been easy at all. Zimbabwe have bowled well and just released a bit of pressure there, but it hasn't been easy. The length, when you hit a good length, not easy to play your shots, not easy to turn the strike over. And if you are a stroke maker, you've really got to graft through this period and wait for the next set of bowlers. Like Sterling, he's just got to get himself through this period.
Very impressed with Owen Shah behind us here. Now he's been hanging off the bars behind us here just to stretch himself. Very impressed, sir. Very impressed. Everybody needs a good stretch now and again.
He's in good nick, his eyes.
Did a few bar stretches myself. Right behind that, Paul Sterling. What did you make to the 100? I know it's a franchise cricket, but it certainly attracted the fans.
It certainly did. It brought out like a different crowd, didn't it? There was a lot of younger people, a lot more girls. It was fantastic. I went to one down at, went to 2 in fact, one at Trent Bridge and one at Lords. There we go, gives himself a bit of room, looking for something. Sterling, he knows he's got to go sooner or later. It's just not in his nature just to hang around. But yes, the 100 was fantastic and the final was fantastic. It really was brilliant fun. Filled those stands, especially after the whole COVID things we've been having, and it was great to see everyone come out.
Yeah, for men and women as well. We had our own Gabby Lewis involved for the Southern Brave, even though they got well beaten in the women's final. It was great to see crowds for both men and women's 100 finals. Well, there's a lot of cricket now out at the moment. We did mention about test matches. You got these one-day internationals, which we're witnessing at the moment. You got the T20 Blast, and now on top of that, the 100. Now, the reason, obviously, they got the 100 is because they wanted some franchise cricket played in the UK. And we're also talking about here, it's been postponed twice now at this stage, the Euro T20 Slam. That hasn't happened either here in Ireland. Hopefully next year, when we're finally out of this global pandemic. Sterling pumps it into the leg side. It should be 2 there. Comes nicely back for the second. And just releases the shackles just a little bit as they move on to 30 without loss.
Yeah, the professional cricketers today and young guys have got so much to look forward to. Young girls as well. There's so much cricket for them to play compared to only a few years ago. The summer is full of cricket. Every day you switch the TV on and there's something going on. You've got the CPL as well, the Caribbean League going on at the moment. Lots of big players out that way, so hell of exciting.
Whipped away by Sterling. That's going to go all the way to the boundary. So 6 runs off the last 2 deliveries from Garva. And Ireland now on to 34 without loss. Is Sterling just starting to turn the wick up a little bit?
He's just started to get used to the bounce, used to the pitch, how the ball's coming through, and now he can play the shots. Just got to be a bit careful. We know that in this pitch there is something there. So he's just got to watch it and pick the right one. And you've got to be very accurate to keep this guy quiet.
There you go, swing and a miss. One hand off the bat too. So 10 overs down of the 50 that they're hoping to get through. 34 without loss, Ireland.
That was a real indication of the pitch. How it just was stopping on the boys or just standing up slightly. Not easy to play. There's another one straight into the glove. It was a very good 10 overs by the Zimbabwe opening pair. They've hit the back of a length hard. The ball stood up slightly. It's not overly quick, but I think it's quite two-paced and not easy to play your shots. Sterling in the last overs just started to find something. Maybe he's thought, no, now's my time. I've got to start going.
I've just used Garva Mazurabani as their 2 bowlers so far. Garva's gone for 18 made in this 5 overs so far. 14 of bowling as Mazurabani. Bad position for Ireland to be in. 34 without loss after 10 overs. It's solid rather than spectacular. They can move it on from here if they don't lose wickets. Porterfield has been very circumspect out there. Really, really waiting for the bad ball. Just playing the maker's name down the track all the time. To Zambani at the far end. So far so good for the former Irish captain. He's on 12. Quite a second slip and a 4th slip in now for Porterfield.
But as we saw in the Zimbabwe innings, as soon as you got a partnership, even if it was slow, you were able to get in, get used to the pitch, and then you could play shots a bit later. So this is, as you said, Ireland are I think in a very good position at the moment. As long as they don't lose wickets, they're always going to be in this game. They've got to try and hold as many as they can for the back end.
Batting to come, Andrew Balbirnie, their captain. George Dockrell, who's lost his Irish contract and now got it back again. He's turned himself in from a left-handed spinner into an all-rounder. Singh, McBrien all combat down the order. Barry McCarthy, Shane Gedgate in the Irish lineup today. Shane Gedgate in for the injured Curtis Camphor, not considered today though. Curtis Camphor has been in and out of the Irish squad over the last year or so. Suffered an ankle problem, had to have surgery. He wasn't considered today. Shane Gedgate. Graham Kennedy also left out of the Irish squad. Porterfield just looking to survive out there.
Well, you see that second delivery, well, the delivery he's just facing now, just kept a bit low, maybe skidded onto him a bit. The one before that jumped on him a bit, so it's not easy, and surviving is important. Don't lose wickets, because you know the next guy coming in, he's going to be suffering the same. As long as they see these guys out there opening bowlers, they'll have a chance at the next guys. They've just got to get themselves used to the pace of the pitch and how it's bouncing. Ball before that, just above knee height, that one up into the splice of the bat. So clearly not easy.
He's not the quickest at getting through his overs, is he? Just walks really slowly back to his mark.
Does he look slow because he's so tall, or is that...
I think he's just saving energy as he's walking back. Perhaps it's a warm day. It's on the leg, and that's going to go all the way for 4. Just lost his line of length before that. He had 5 dot balls, and that ruins his figures at the end of that over. 11 down, 38 without loss. Giving us 4-leg buys. I won't mind that. 5 dot balls before the final delivery, straying down the leg side of that 11th over. I'll be happy now just to get those 4 runs after those 5 dots. And looks like we're going to see spin for the first time.
This is going to be telling now. First change bowler is a spinner. Ireland used their seamers, and Zimbabwe were able to get away quite nicely, but now we're going to see spin. Musa Rabani bowls his left arm orthodox with his glasses on and the headband, and he has improved so much and lands it beautifully. Wellington Mazakadze, he's a character. What is Sterling going to do? Is he going to let him hang around a bit, have a look at him, or is he just going to pop him back over his head? Long off and long on our back, but Sterling plays shots.
Wellington Mazakadze, 27 years of age, from Harare. First time we've seen spin in the Irish reply. The immediate signal to Sterling into the offside. Mazakadze actually made his ODI debut for Zimbabwe against Ireland in October of 2015. Best of 4 for 21 for the 27-year-old. Plenty of changes in the field as well. They started with slip to Sterling, but that has been dispensed with for Porterfield, the right-hander. Chance second on the arm here. No, they won't. Zimbabwe went slightly more defensive on that particular delivery, didn't they? They seem to spread the field far and wide, taking out the slip. And it's going to go back in now with Sterling back on strike.
Well, turning the ball into the left-hander, you've got to protect that left side, but really they did that. Just the one man was in mid-wicket. That's a kind of raza for the left-hander, but now they come, bring the slip in. Turn the ball away from Sterling and try and get him on the front foot driving. Caught that slip, that's probably their target, but they have gone quite defensive. 3 singles in a row, quite easy 3 singles as well.
Ireland won't mind that, having got 4 off the last ball of the previous over to Now 3 singles, so 7 from the last 4 deliveries. This is what Ireland need to do now. Having got the platform, start taking it over. Yeah, just find the gaps. Don't need to be too clever. Bat on ball, steer it round the ground. Get the fielding side moving as well, the combo between left and right batsmen.
Slips come out into that cover area, would point. Just 4 off the over. Quite comfortable for Ireland there. 42 without loss after 12.
That's how the game stands at the moment. Ireland need 225 runs to win from 38 overs. Just shy of 6 runs and over, having won the toss and put Zimbabwe into bat. They made 2, 66 for 7. Irvine and Raza topping the batting in terms of scoring, 64 and 59 respectively. The Irish bowlers were their 2 spinners, Simi Singh, 1 for 22, and McBrien, 1 for 26 from their 10 overs. The faster bowlers got a little bit of smack around the ground, but Ireland in reply now. 42 without loss, Sterling on 20 and Porterfield on 14. And another change in bowling as well from the far end. Luke Chongwei, 26-year-old. Is that 5 for 6? That's some figures. Nice shot from Porterfield. Stepped outside his crease, just worked it into the leg side. Might come back for a third here. No, just the 2. It was clever batting from Porterfield. Stepped aside his crease before he actually just nicked it into the leg side.
And then he controlled the shots from mid-wicket as well. He didn't really lean on it, didn't try and smash it. He just leant on it comfortably through there for 2. It's a job he's got to do now. Just try and turn the strike over a bit more and build on this partnership of 44. They're in a good position, or Ireland. I feel Zimbabwe need to get a wicket.
Isn't that the beauty of this game, though, as well? You've got to play the conditions time and time and time again. You can get fast tracks, you can slow tracks, one that keeps low, one that can go high. The conditions out there mean that the ball is a little bit, or it's a bit sticky coming on. So you've got to play the not just the bowlers, but the conditions themselves.